Alright, boys and girls, today I have another Breaking Bad episode for you all, the El Camino. In this video, you will find out what happened in the movie and hear about my analytics and theories about the characters and universe it takes place in. Now, grab your favorite drink and buckle up, because this shit is about to get heavy. After the famous Heisenberg pulled off the machine gun blazing, Nazi exterminating, totally badass redemption, our favorite carpenter and meth addict Jesse Pinkman is left with an unknown fate. I'm glad they made this film so we can finally answer the million-dollar question. What happened to Jesse Pinkman? The movie starts with a conversation between Jesse and Mike. Camera cuts to a very understandably traumatized Jesse Pinkman driving away in the car. He barely manages to avoid the lawman swarming Nazi stronghold and finds his way to a familiar house. That houses our two favorite side characters, Badger and Skinny Pete, talking about how Pete can't even drive a bus full of school kids to a zoo. I mean, none of the fuckers should ever be driving kids around, goddammit. The duo soon finds a very traumatized Jesse Pinkman on their porch. Did someone order a tormented bum with extra abuse? Oh no, it's Jesse. The men quickly scramble to get the vehicle into their yard, while Jesse absolutely gnarls on a cup noodle. Like seriously, nobody, and I mean fucking nobody on this God's green earth should be that fucking hungry for some bloody instant noodles. We see Jesse overreacting to light and even his own friends, indicating some severe trauma sustained at a Nazi camp. He can't even take a shower without having flashbacks of being hosed off, abused, tortured, and treated like an animal. But now, Jesse Pinkman, showered and nurtured new man, ready to make some moves. But first, they need to get rid of the vehicle, so the coppers don't come ask questions. Skinny Pete is kind enough to supply Jesse with an unused phone, which Jesse used to call our favorite junkyard owner, Joe, who happened to be looking at Jesse's face on national TV. The man shows up at the house promptly, only to fanatically scramble seconds later. Apparently, the car has a tracker, and it's just being activated. Jesse, now ready to draw the heat all by himself, but Skinny Pete has a better idea. Badger will act as a decoy, while Pete stays with the vehicle. Jesse, on the other hand, will slip away in Pete's inconspicuous car. Pete will then make up a story about Jesse selling him the El Camino and left. And you can tell Badger is a little reserved here, but he still chooses to be a bro nevertheless. Before Jesse leaves, Skinny Pete takes off the beanie hat he's been wearing for all 11 seasons of Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad and gives it to Jesse. Wow. The camera then cuts to a Skinny Pete looking grim, suggesting that the consequences of him covering for Jesse are probably going to be much more severe than he made it seem like. Look at all these coppers, man, which I've been doing when the gang used Thomas to sell dope, or when Todd shot Brooke or Hector killed the Samaritan, or when Jack shot Hank. And look at y'all rolling around now to collect the dead Heisenberg you failed to bust for all that 5 seasons. Pfft. A cutback shows Todd checking if Jesse's awake before he lets the sun in. What a psychopath. I absolutely love how he lowers the cigarette with his rope. Very methodical. We will see more of that side later. The man has a small talk about the weather and Nazi motorboat. Turned out that Todd needs Jesse to help him install the top on his El Camino, and maybe another small favor. The camera cuts to present. We see a Jesse trying to sneak into Todd's apartment, but for what? We'll see soon enough. Oh no, it's nosy neighbor watering the goddamn plants at 12 a.m. Thankfully, Jesse is able to get inside before he sniffed him out. What an old buzzard. The scene then brilliantly cut back to the past. Jesse finds himself looking at the peephole out of Todd's apartment. It's a neat-looking place with nicely set-up colors, but oh my god, there's a dead body on the ground. Shit. Apparently, the poor cleaning lady has accidentally found Todd's dirty money hidden in his books. and Todd being Todd, absolutely murdered her poor soul. Todd then proceeds to eat soup when sitting less than 20 feet across a dead body. Fucking A, man. Who doesn't love a ruthless psychopath? I sure do. We see a present Jesse tossing the place over, looking for his now dead captor's cash. The scene is obviously a nod to the Breaking Bad episode where Jesse is plastered with a batch of dope that needed to go to the frightening chicken man. He didn't seem to have much luck doing that, and ladies and gentlemen, this is the exact moment where Jesse Pinkman turned into Nicolas Cage. Jesse then saw his parents on the news through his neighbor's windows, so he found the channel on Todd's TV. Apparently, the parents want Jesse to turn himself in, but Jesse obviously had other plans. What? That's gonna hurt. I don't know which side she landed, but open casket is probably not an option. Singing upbeat country songs, the two men got rid of the poor janitor lady. And guess what now? Lady Lucky's smiling. And Jesse Pinkman found himself a gun. He let Todd talk him out of it. Unfortunately, this will not be the last time that Jesse falls victim to his own complexity. This scene perfectly showed the nature of a psychopath. Todd manages to disarm Jesse despite all the torture and abuse he inflicted on him by merely offering Jesse some ice beer. Be aware of this type of people in real life. As the present Jesse searched Todd's apartment, two quote-unquote police officers showed up. Although Jesse found the money in the fridge, he needs to get the fuck out of Dodge. And this is the exact moment where Jesse Pinkman became Bill Burr. Fortunately, the nosy neighbor bought Jesse some time. Unfortunately, Jesse is bad at hiding. Gary, that's probably not his name, but I'm just gonna call him Gary, soon find himself staring down Jesse's barrel. Gary's partner, Neil, is, however, a seasoned criminal. He quickly realizes something is wrong and approaches with caution. Notice how he holds a gun and stops around corners, like these guys. Neil notices Jesse's insecurity and convinces Jesse to surrender again. As the two are about to capture Jesse, Jesse admits that he knows the location of the money. Neil agreed to let Jesse go if he gave up the cash. Meanwhile, Gary tries his best to entertain the nosy neighbor. God, I can't fucking stand this type of people. They know enough of everything to raise annoying questions, but not enough about anything to make any sense. Ugh. Using the nosy neighbor as leverage, Jesse walked away with a third of the cash. And this is why I somehow like the Jack Nazi gang. And don't get me wrong, I don't like Nazis. They're bad people and criminals. But they got incredible integrity when it comes to keeping a promise. As Neil and Jesse leaves the building, Jesse recognized Neil's truck. And if you don't worry. The film will remind us later. But it is beyond a doubt that Neil was going to let Jesse go, even after he knows for sure that Jesse recognized him. And that is just an excellent villainy right here. Vince, where did you find out these old school, no bullshit eye to eye degenerate bastard of a Nazi son of a bitch yet able to hold a golden promise villains? Sign me up for a dozen more. God damn it, love this guy. Jesse, with his bag of cash, immediately headed for Ed's vacuum shop. And how Ed patiently entertains the old lady while making millions overnight is just fantastically fascinating. And Jesse demands a replacement filter for his Hoover Max Extract Pressure Pro Model 60. However, Ed reminded him that he still owed him from the last time, where Jesse turned around to confront Walter for poisoning Brooke. Jesse scoops his pockets and finds himself still $1,800 short. He refused to leave without his filter replacement, and Ed called the police. Jesse had to turn around, but wait a minute. Ed had just as much to lose as him. Plus 911 always call back if you hang up on them, don't they? Oh, Ed, you old buffoon. Jesse's wiser than that. Oh, no, well, wait, is that a cop car? Jesse Pinkman scrams in a big hurry. Fortunately, Ed, the vacuum shop owner, did not rat him out. Jesse later calls Ed, saying word is a word, and he will get the rest of $1,800. Ed, being a man of his word, reluctantly agrees. But from whom? Well, whoever who has the money. But who has the money? Well, whoever has money has the money. What about the Nazis? Before Jesse visited Candy Welding, he called his parents and agreed to turn himself in, but only if they pick him up themselves. The excited couple soon left the house in a hurry, followed by the cops lurking around. Gotta say, that's a nice U-turn. Jesse arrives as the cops leave. He recovers a key from a loose brick in the yard and proceeds to acquire 2 pistols from his parents' safe. He then finds the address of Candy Welding from a phone book. Finally, our Jesse Pinkman is ready for his heist. We can tell that Nazi gang took a really big hit after Heisenberg swiped out some of their best men. If you go back and watch Breaking Bad, the Jack gang has some absolutely terrifying units. The prison shankers, serious, calm man, timely, and professional. And hell, that one guy even has an AA-12. There are like 24 of these floating around the entire USA. And now the post-Jack gang are just a bunch of brats. Look at that guy getting shoved. Pathetic. Camera cuts again to Mr. Shining Stars and Stripes doing some welding. And Uncle Jack and Todd are also there. And the chained-up Jesse Pinkman. They are making a bet that Jesse could break the prison harness. Oh, poor Jesse. And yes, the welding guy, that's Neil. Neil doesn't seem to have any particular beef with Jesse. He's just being indifferent. Inside of the stronghold, Neil is enjoying his cocaine. Suddenly, the vibe of the place turns into... It's Jesse. Jesse made it clear that he wants another $1,800 and he will be gone. This is when the rest of the boys find out that Neil had compromised to Jesse before. It does not sit well with them. Now, Neil is a smart criminal. If he is alone, I will bet $100 that Neil would just give Jesse the $1,800. But under this circumstance, he cannot afford to allow Jesse walk away again with more of their money in front of all his subordinates. It would completely destroy his alpha position in the pack. So Neil challenges Jesse to a duel. And boy, that was a mistake. Neil would have won in a fair fight. He's got more experience, more training, and significantly more body weight. He's got a bigger gun, and which will plug whatever on the receiving end harder. But he made the mistake of underestimating Jesse. And it goes down faster than he could even say fast. Jesse shoots Neil dead with another gun in his pocket. Gary, seeing the opening, goes for his Glock. Jesse shoots him dead as well. Jesse then threatens the rest of the men with their addresses, and apparently he's also on fire. Concluding the final business was the Nazi gang. A newborn Jesse Pinkman literally sets the Nazi factory on fire and leaves without even looking at the explosion. Jesse Pinkman, now with both money and vengeance, is finally able to leave his past behind. At a scene where it's obviously a cutback to a younger Jesse with his mentor, captor, and fatherly figure, Walter White, the Heisenberg. Come on, Walter, we're waiting for you now. There. The man then proceeds to eat at a cafe where Jesse is heard saying,
"Yeah, bitch,"
indicating that this is indeed a scene from before, as Jesse still retains a lot of his innocence. Seeing Walter coughing, Jesse bribes the waiter to leave the water bucket, and the two has a conversation about future plans, where Walter tells Jesse that you are lucky to be able to have accomplished something when you are young and you don't have to wait your whole life. And this part of conversation really struck me because I've been thinking about it. for a long time, and I think Walter White here is absolutely correct. That you don't have to wait your whole life to do something. That is truly something amazing.
You didn't have to wait.
Well, maybe not amazing. Making a mess is not amazing, but being able to do what you love and be appreciated is not a privilege that is enjoyed by everyone in this world. The vacuum shop owner kept his word, and Jesse is able to start anew all over again. I really love how vehicles is a repeatedly occurring but very subtle theme in the Breaking Bad universe. The characters all have some interesting vehicles, and more interesting ones show up when you don't pay attention. I love this shot where the two men are segregated by the vehicle window. The camera work is ridiculously good. But anyways, before Jesse drives off into the sunset, Ed asks him if he has any goodbyes to say. Jesse hands him a postcard, which we soon find out is for Brooke and Andrea. The final scene cuts to a season 2 Jesse with his girlfriend Jane. Jesse told Jane that he's thinking about her theory that just to go wherever the universe takes you. And Jane replied, sometimes she would rather make her own decisions. Whoa man, what a trip. I hope you enjoyed the journey. I absolutely had a blast watching the movie and making this video, and I really hope you could say the same.